just a few minutes. Since you're clapping, put your hands together for Reverend Dr. Greg Floyd. We thank God for you. And there will be others that we will be introducing as time goes on. I will let you know that several have text and call even on today that could not make it for one reason or another. I do know the GOP is having their meeting tonight here in Gastonia. I got a call from Raleigh for a couple of folks that way that had some meetings that were going on, whether it's Senate or whether it was House. So a lot of different things that are going on, but you know, you got to plan these things and you got to try to get the information out. So we're thankful for those that did make it on tonight. We thank God also for our production ministry led by Deacon Marquise Douglas. We thank you, sir. And he's got us on Facebook Live and on YouTube. So you can go to either our website, cbcgnc.org. Once again, cbcgnc.org, Center Baptist Church, Gastonia, North Carolina, just the letters. And you can see our website there, and you can also go and plug in from there. We're Facebook Live, Center Baptist Church, and YouTube, Center Baptist Church channel. So you're welcome to go ahead and text folks. We generally have a good group watching between now on tonight as well as other times. So we just want to go ahead and get started in just a few minutes. The outline is very simple. Just information will be coming about the coalition from Reverend Floyd in just a few minutes. I do want you to know that one of the big things that I like to go ahead, and the reason a lot of people like coming here is because we don't have mudslinging. Amen. Yeah, we don't have mudslinging. You ought to be able to get up and tell what you believe. A lot of people like coming here, what you want to do for us. Yeah, we don't have mudslinging. You ought to be able to get up and tell what you believe. A lot of people like coming here, what you want to do for us. Yeah, we don't have mudslinging. You ought to be able to get up and tell what you believe. What you want to do for us. Yeah, we don't have mudslinging. You ought to be able to get up and tell what you believe. What you want to do for us. Yeah, we don't have mudslinging. You ought to be able to get up and tell what you believe.
Good afternoon. It's so good to see all of you. Rain. Good afternoon. Sleepy. It's so good to see all of you. Red. Good afternoon. Monday night. It's so good to see all that you have red. Good afternoon. Again. I'm so happy to see all that you have red. Good afternoon. Again. I'm so happy to see all that you have red. Good afternoon. Again. I'm so happy to see all that you have red now. Good afternoon. Again. I'm so happy to have it hell red now. Good afternoon. Again. Whatever the hell is now, good afternoon 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 again. Whatever the hell is now, God, I'm here for you again. Whatever the hell is now, God, I'm here for you again. Whatever the hell is now, God, I'm here for you again.
Thank you.
time, I was also a volunteer for 17 years on a steering committee for the Venice Family Clinic, where we provided free health care, including mental health care, drug addiction programs. We assisted with the homeless as well. Then in 2010, I retired and I moved to Cramerton, where I've resided ever since. Sorry about this. And it looks like I have a lot of paperwork here, it's just large print. So why? Why am I doing this? It's because I love my community. That's why I'm running. This is where I'm going to get emotional. I'm running to protect it, because when the alternatives are just too hard to bear, sometimes you have to step up and do something to help do what's right. And I'm concerned about a number of issues that are affecting the needs. And that's what we want to do, is we want to take care of the needs of the people, our citizens. And a few, just to start with, we need accessible and affordable childcare. We need to address the housing issue, affordable housing. We need to address our teachers' pay, because right now it's just not working. How do we incentivize our teachers to come out and work to teach our children, to educate our children? We need to protect and fund our public schools, and we need to protect women's rights. We need to work on a living wage, something that is sustainable, and it's just not working. We need to address the homelessness. We need to protect voting rights, and that's something that I am just passionate about, have always been. And in fact, I will stop there and let you know that the very first person who ever registered to vote was my mother. I was 18, she had never voted. And when I asked her to drive me to the post office to get my voter registration form, I said, "Mom, why don't we get you one?" We took that home, we filled them out, and my dad had never voted. They were in their late 40s. He did not want to be outdone, so what did he do? He drove himself to the post office and got himself a voter form, and we all voted from then on, every family member. So I want you to know I also support in addition to the voting rights, I also support, there's a constitutional amendment. I would love for y'all to read up on it if you can, but it's a North Carolina House Bill 822. It's to abolish slavery in all forms, including involuntary servitude. And that's just for starters. And this is where I'm going to try, I'm not going to do the mudslinging here, but I'm going to hold up a book right now, because my opponent, who is Donnie Loftus, I'm also his constituent. He participated and came home proudly to announce that he had been at the Stop the Steal at the entrance and was gassed 3 times. This was all over the news, and he claims this truly happened, all over social media. And as we all know, the Stop the Steal rally, the insurrection, it was about stopping the peaceful transfer of power. And what I'm holding up here, and this is to honor this man, Harry Dunn, and during Black History Month, and if you haven't read this, I would highly recommend it. He was the Capitol Police officer who was inside of the Capitol building and fought back and protected our representatives, protected every one of them. He did not stop and ask, are you a Republican? Are you a Democrat? He fought to protect. He honored his oath. He honored his oath and took care of people. So I'm just saying, if you want to read up, please read up. And this is such a fantastic account. Heartbreaking, and this man here is now running in Maryland for Congress. So this whole ordeal, tragically, but the outcome is that he is running. So, and I also want to mention that my father, he was a proud Navy vet, and he made sure that we heard about his experience when we were growing up. He was proud. He talked about his experience in protecting and serving and how important his oath was. My parents are both buried together in a Veterans Memorial Park up in Alfred, Maine. And my father was given an honors ceremony, an honors burial. And, so in closing, I want you to all know it would be my honor to serve you, to serve my community. And I look forward to hearing from you and learn more. Thank you.
If you will, while you're there, give your name one more time and what position.
Yes.
Your name one more time and your position.
And I put little cards out in the front. My name is Pam Morgenstern. I'm running for the North Carolina House of Representatives, seat 109. Oh, yes.
Don't laugh at me. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Whew. I'm going to get it together. This is my first time in this political arena. Yes, I've watched the news. All my life. My name is Dr. Charlene Mullins. Take the DR off, take the title off. I'm Charlene Mullins today, okay? The doctor came with my, degrees, going to school and all of that. But today, I just want you to know me by Charlene Mullins right now. I'm originally from Washington, D.C. all my life. I was born and raised in Washington, D.C. I am the middle child of 6. My mom, and I might get a little emotional. This is 3 years. I lost my mom on the 9th of February. And she was Army Reserve. Just give me a moment. It's a little emotional because she's always been my backbone. She's always been there when I write. Whatever I did, she was always there to support me, always. My upbringing has always been in the house of the Lord. I am oh, my goodness. I was brought up in the church, and that's who I am. That's my DNA, and I miss her. I miss my mom. And I know she's smiling down at me right now. And I'm going to say, I love you, Mom. So I'm going to go on. I want to thank you for allowing me to be here this evening. I have 3 children. All have graduated out of school. I have 7 grandchildren. I know I don't look like it, but I do. I have 7 grand. Beautiful children. All of my children are doing very well. Morehouse man, accountant in the house, educator. For a single mom, I think I did pretty well. Wouldn't you say so? I think I did pretty well. But I'm here tonight, and a little bit about me. I graduated from Spingarn High School, went to Trinity University, didn't complete Trinity because I wanted to further my education in theology. So I wind up going to Faith Global University, and I got my bachelor's, my master's, and my doctorate in theology. Concentration in counseling, and I am certified, that lights are bothering me too, but I'm certified in mental health, substance abuse, my background, and 26 years in healthcare, pharmaceutical. So I've been doing that pretty much all my life. And when you think about it, I've been serving. That's pretty much what I do. And that's what, when you think about it, that's what, and let me stop for a minute. I am running for Gaston County Commissioner. I had to stop and say that. But that's what we do, public service. That's what it's all about. And so I've been serving, I'm not going to tell y'all my age, but I've been serving all my life. you know, as a child. You know, I'm learning from my grandparents and my mom. And so with that being said, I'm so grateful to be here. I transitioned here. I transitioned to Charlotte first. My son was the one how I got here because he got accepted at Morehouse College. And so 2014, I was in Charlotte. And then 2017, I transitioned here in Gastonia, where I have made this my home. And it's beautiful here. To be honest with you, I came out, didn't know what I was going to be doing, talked to the Lord, because like I said, that's what I do. And I wrote some stuff on this paper, and the Holy Spirit is just moving me right now. And I'm just going to let y'all know right now, I am not even looking at this paper. But I say this to say, leaving from Charlotte, I didn't know what I was going to be doing, and I kept on speaking to the Lord, like, what is it that you want me to do? And I've always done outreach. So I've been in the streets. I've been doing outreach. And so when I got up here to Gaston County, 2018, I birthed a nonprofit, a 501c3 nonprofit, and it's called Unity for Us Community Outreach. And pretty much what that organization does is help the less fortunate. Men and women coming out of prison. I do prison ministries. I go to the jail right up here in Gaston County. It's been almost 3 years. I go to Troy. I go to Lexington. I just go in out here and do the work, you know. Oh, 1 minute. So I'm going to say this really quick. So I said that part about the organization. I want to get right here. My commitment to extend and my reason why, beyond the walls of my house, I've seen some things within this community. Through my outreach efforts, I encountered some harsh conditions of those living on the streets, and I couldn't stay idle by them. So I opened up my own home. I opened up my home and made a difference. Over the course of the past years, I have taken 9 individuals into my own home, provided them shelter, clothing, food, and to regain their dignity. I firmly believe that a community we define by our uplifting and support most valuable is among us. And I will say this, Gaston County deserves a leader who are not only applicable, but we also be proactive in finding solutions to the challenges. You done? All right. Well, thank y'all for letting me share.
Hey, good evening, everybody. My name is Corey Creech, and I'm running for North Carolina State Senate, seat 43. The reason why I'm running is because I care about people. I'm tired of seeing people come into office and they don't care about people. They care about their own agenda. They care about making themselves look good. It's their own agenda. I got tired of sitting on the sidelines and watching this. God has raised me for this particular situation, for me to come into this at this moment. I am the Democratic person that's going to be running for this position. I see my opponent, Brad Overcash, has come in today. I am coming in because I want to make sure that you get the right person for the job. And that right person for that job is that person who cares about people, they care about, and mainly I care about the less fortunate. That's what I'm here for. At the risk of exposing myself, I'm going to tell you a little bit about me. It's not going to be all pretty. Now, growing up, I was abused. Pretty much every day by my father. I was actually put in a foster home for a little while. But God, He put it in my heart to fight for the less fortunate. I had a gift. I don't look big or anything, but I had a gift to beat people up. That's just a fact. People in that foster home, they were getting jumped on when we came to schools. I always protected my brothers. I was always the one jumping in. But at school, they would jump on these foster home kids. And so I would step in, no matter how big you was. And they always like, Corey, what you got to do with it? It's been put in my heart. As a matter of fact, when I went to go play football, my dad told me he'll kill me if I jumped on the football field. I went anyway. And I played. And God just kept raising me. Ended up being all conference football. Ended up winning 3 state wrestling titles. Computer science was something I was interested in. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was thinking I was fairly smart. I would be a doctor. But I didn't know I didn't have that kind of money, so I was scared of it. So I ended up, someone taught me computers. I was about the 11th grade. So just to let you know how God, this is just an example how God just kept raising me for this particular situation, for me to become and speak for people. He allowed me to speak to the less fortunate. I rub elbows with the less fortunate. I rub elbows with the fortunate. So I care about all people, and I understand their situation. I easily put myself in other people's shoes.
1 minute.
Easily. Even when my wife met me. Why are you doing this? You trying to get something out of it? No. It's just that I care about people. I care about your feelings more than my feelings. And that's with everybody. That's the kind of person you want in office. That's going in and they're voting for legislation. You don't want anybody coming up here giving you a song and dance. That's not my position. I'm a software engineering manager now for GM. I manage over 20 software engineers. I've been doing it for 30 plus years. Every one of the people that have ever worked under me, they know I'm always looking out for your best interests. I'll put whatever aside. My wife will tell you. Everything that I do is for others. All right. Ran out of time, so, but again, my name is Corey Creech. I'm running for North Carolina State Senate, seat 43.
One more time, the name and what you're running for?
Yes. My name is Corey Creech. I'm running for North Carolina State Senate, seat 43.
All right. Thank you so much. We have another candidate that has made it on in.
Well, Dr. Crawford, thanks so much for pulling this together. You always have a great crowd and pull together a good event. My name is Brad Overcash. It's my honor and privilege to represent Gaston County in the state Senate. I've just completed my first term, and I'll tell you, it has been my one and solitary goal is to have someone with a seriousness of purpose to go to Raleigh, to remind the folks from all across this state that Gaston County has been forgotten and overlooked too long in Raleigh. And I made it my mission to highlight what's going on here, the positive, the negative, everything that's happening with our folks here in Gaston County. And that has taken. When we've needed something, I've been able to go and work for it to try to make for better change. We're sitting right here at the beautiful Center Baptist Church. The Department of Transportation and our local MCO had a plan that was going to take a significant portion of this parking lot. I worked with the pastor of this church. I worked with others to make sure I understood what the issues were. And there's been accommodations to help the folks here at Center Baptist Church to keep as much of their property as possible. It's those kinds of things that don't reach the Gaston Gazette headlines, the Charlotte Observer headlines, the News and Observer out of Raleigh headlines, but those are the kind of things that matter to the people of Gaston County. And that's exactly what I've endeavored to do so far this year, and that's exactly what I'll continue to do should you seek to vote for me to have another term in the state Senate. I'm a native of North Carolina. I am a lifelong lover of this state and of our people, and I just really appreciate the confidence that you all have shown in me in this first term, and I vow to continue to fight with that same gusto and that same fervor going forward, and I would really appreciate your vote in that respect. I live in Belmont, North Carolina, not too far from here, down in Belmead. I'm married, I have 2 children, public schools in 5th grade and 3rd grade. This is our home, this is our community, just like it is all of you. I'm a man of faith, as I suspect most of you in here are, and I just really appreciate everything that y'all are doing. I appreciate you being out here on a rainy night. That's not easy. Everybody wouldn't do that. It'd be easy to sit in front of the television and put your feet up. So I appreciate y'all being out here, and I appreciate you giving me a few moments to talk and everything y'all do. I'm Brad Overcash, running for re-election to the state Senate. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We have another that has made it on in, and I'm gonna give him a hug right quick because of the simple fact that he may not be able to stay long, so he may have to go on out the door, as well as our judge.
Good evening. Thanks for everybody coming out on this rainy, miserable night. Pierre, thank you so much as always. Dr. Crawford is someone who I've always been able to rely on, who I can call to get some good guidance to me. And one thing that when we talked this morning that really hit me, as we were going through some of the discussions, the things that we were just going through this week of how intertwined our lives are, not necessarily every day of seeing each other, but fighting all the same battles internally and externally, and spiritually, and that we all go through those things. And what really weighed on me since we talked this morning was just how much more all of us have in common than ever divides us. And we need to stop focusing every day on those issues that do divide us on a personal level. I'm not talking politically right now, but as a society. When we're in need, all of us have faced these same battles. Not every exact same fight, but we've all been in a situation where we needed help. We've all been in a situation where we need to pick up that phone and have someone to call. And so, Dr. Crawford, I just want to again thank you that you are one of those people for me. And you always have been, and today it really hit me of just how much I've relied on you and hope to be able to continue to do that. So I'm a district court judge right now, middle of my current term, but the legislature, and thank you, Senator Overcash, included a much needed additional Superior Court spot for Gaston County. Our district is just in this county. I filed for that. I'm here, I hope you'll vote for me. I'm uncontested, so I'm here mostly to support this organization today and support the fact that you guys are out here to come and meet with you and just to say hello and to thank you for your civic duty of being here. Again, I hope that you'll consider voting for me. I heard about foster systems as a district court judge. This week, I'm handling termination of parental rights hearings. Today alone, I had multiple hearings of kids who have gone through foster care. And these were cases that have been in that system for a long time. Those cases, domestic cases, people who need help and haven't been able to figure out their own path forward often and need the guidance are things that district court judges do, and it's such an honor to get to serve in that role. Just like you heard Senator Overcash mention about the things that don't get the attention. As a district court judge, the things we do aren't on the headlines most of the time. It's a custody case when parents can't figure out where you even exchange the child for visitation. It's a situation of when we have a veteran who is going through PTSD for years and hasn't had help and needs a ear, needs a judge's ear for a little bit, sometimes and usually during a sentencing hearing. Those are things that we get to do in the court system that has been such an honor to get to serve and to represent all of you there. I look forward to continuing that in a new role come next year. I do ask for your votes. Most importantly, I ask for your prayers for myself, for the other 6 district court judges that we have, for the other 3 Superior Court judges that we have right now. These are decisions that they need divine guidance from. They need that prayer, and I ask that you support those judges in that prayer. We hear a lot about supporting first responders and those individuals, and they absolutely need your prayers. But then the cases get to us, and we need to make sure that we are listening to what we're supposed to hear and doing the mission that we're supposed to do. So I just really ask that you spend some time in prayer on a regular basis for your court system. Again, we're dealing with custody issues. We're dealing with broken families. We're dealing with people who quite often are getting incarcerated. I hope when that happens that it's the people who are supposed to be getting incarcerated. And I pray that there's nobody that we're doing that to who shouldn't be incarcerated. And I also pray that anybody who's not getting incarcerated when that's an option, that those are the people who shouldn't be. It's an awesome responsibility that we need your support so that we're getting the right decisions. We're doing our best to make sure that we offer a safe Gaston County in the criminal end of the courthouse. Tomorrow I'll actually get pulled out because I didn't have, Tuesdays I don't do the termination hearings, and I'll be in traffic court. Again, the cases don't get the headlines. But we deal with cases there where if we don't handle the cases right, people can literally end up dying. And I don't know, when I handle the 180 some cases tomorrow, which person needs to hear the right words. Pray for me. Pray that I will know the right words and the right person to slow down, listen to, and know what to say. Again, my name is Craig Collins. I'm currently a district court judge. I will be on your ballot in November. Uncontested, but I certainly hope that you'll consider voting for me for Superior Court. Whether you do or not, please keep me in your prayers. Please keep the other judges in your prayers. Thank you so much.
One more time, if your name and the position.
Craig Collins, currently in district court, running for Superior Court judge.
Once again, I'm gonna grab this hug because I'm hoping that they'll be able to stay a little bit, but if they gotta run.
I promise my life after missing all weekend.
Now, right before he begins, those that can stay, we ask that you do. If you gotta go, we understand. But what we do wanna do is right after all the candidates is go ahead and have just a few moments for Q&A. Yes, sir.
The gentlemen that are leaving.
Yes.
What if the audience has a couple of questions for them before they leave?
Okay. What, do you want to go ahead and go now, or you want to?
I'll be glad to defer to you, or I can go first, whatever you prefer.
Okay, they got a couple questions. That'll be fine. So if you want to go ahead and let them go, because I know they got to go.
Absolutely.
He's been out of town and got to get home.
No problem.
Because we can't let them come on, move in with us. All right, so come to the mic, because they need to hear you at home. And thank you, Marquise, for getting the sound and everything straightened on out. You can have a seat, and whichever one that wants to ask the question, they'll come to the mic. Both of y'all can have a seat right up front, pew.
First of all, my name is Cornell Thomas. I'm the CEO of Samantha's House, and I know who both of y'all are. Just to be honest with you, during the political times, I mean, you know, normally they come and y'all say stuff to us, and so I want to have an opportunity to say this to y'all. I buried 3 women in the last 3 weeks to opioid epidemic, right? I sit in these courthouses. I actually work for the courthouse, man. I do the community service. Judge Phillips, Judge Bogle, I'm familiar with all of this right here. But the problem that I have, like over in Charlotte in Mecklenburg County, doing the opioid settlement, you know, what they're doing here, man, the monies that were given in that settlement They're giving them to places that put some of our people on mind-altering, mood-changing chemicals, and I got a problem with that. You know, in this community here, man, we have people that been through the academic of the opioid epidemic, and we have survived a near-fatal catastrophe. I buried a young lady last year that lost her daughter because she was getting high, and her daughter got an opioid epidemic. This year, I had her sister that couldn't get over it because she was still grieving about her sister, and I just buried her 3 weeks ago. You know, and I'm familiar with this thing, but we got some people in this community, man. I run Samantha's house. I have 17 beds. The churches in our community support what we do, but the officials that have the opportunity to make a way, and by the way, I'm from Washington. I'm from Washington, D.C. So I've been clean 15 years. And the thing about it is, I mean, even though we come to the churches here, but we got proven things out there. My wife is a mental health provider. She is actually substance abuse. She's, you know, we have beds for people, but we don't have monies.
Okay, that's what I want to get at. I need a question.
Okay, the question is,
yes.
okay, I appreciate that, Pastor. The question is, I mean, when you come up here, I pray for you, because I know your jobs are hard, but what do you do for us when we need to have information so we can provide something for our community so we can stop dying up here? So, I mean, it's good that y'all coming up here telling us to pray for y'all, and I know you got hard jobs, Mr. Overcash, up in what you do in the courthouse, and I respect what you do, but we got people out here that's dying because they ain't got nowhere to live. You want to give them these mind-altering, mood-changing chemicals, but you don't want to give them a house where they can nurture themselves.
The question is...
The question is, what do we do? How do we contact y'all? If you really want to help these people out here, what do we do to get a part of the opioid settlement besides giving people medications that they can't get off anyway?
Okay, so hold on. Opioid settlement monies that are available.
So we can house
What
that.
can we do? That's the question?
That's the question.
All right.
Thank you for everything you're doing.
I appreciate you too.
The first answer, I'll come back to the settlement issue. The first answer is the solution is you. The solution is out here. The biggest problem that I find in drug addiction, which is the second biggest problem that we have in this community, the solution is the problem with the first biggest problem. These are people filling their soul because they have not found something overriding. When they look in the mirror, quite often they're seeing the most important thing in the universe looking back at them. And when you look in the mirror and see the most important thing in the universe looking back at you, that is a depressing, sad place. And you need to have something bigger than yourself. Now, there's a lot of things that we can find to be bigger than ourselves. I find that there's one thing that is lasting, and that's having a relationship with Christ. The government is not the place where we're allowed to do that. So we need to empower people. We need our churches to step up. I'm proud that you have your organization and the church involvement there. I'm proud that I have a church that is looking at creating a facility that would have up towards 100 beds. We don't have nearly enough facilities. And when we do it with just a government solution, I think it falls empty. So I think that's part of it. The settlement is a county issue. That's going to be your county commissioners. That's going to go through that. Judges don't have any real power over that. We need our churches to step up. In some ways, we need the government to step out of the way some. We do have some government programs. The senator, I know, was very helpful in getting a line item in the budget that helped us fund the Veterans Treatment Court. We find our veterans especially are suffering with substance abuse, mostly because we have veterans who have come back from war, from defending our freedom, with things in their head that I'm grateful that I don't have. And it'll break your heart when you hear those stories. It absolutely does. And these are people who have that because they answered the call to protect us. And they answered the call to go into battle. I had a gentleman who I met in court. It was third or fourth DWI, I was sentencing them. And I realized that in traffic court, we're flying through cases. And I realized this is a case that I need to stop everything. We had 100 people waiting for their cases we heard. And this case had to take top priority. I'm not going to go through too many details because he ended up sending me regular messages. We became fairly close. That was, I believe, a Tuesday. He told me that Saturday was the day he had scheduled for his suicide. He got into church. He found a treatment program. He found a purpose in life. He unfortunately, on his moped, was hit and killed about 6 months later. As a Christian, I'm so grateful to know that we led him back to Christ. But the court can't do that. That required people. That required people outside the system. As a judge, all I can do is know when I need to stop and listen. Truly heartbreaking story that it ended the way it did, but I'm certainly glad it didn't end that Saturday. And so I wish I had a magic bullet answer for you on these. But as a judge, I think the role is to know when to have that ear open, know when to listen, know the right words to respond for that individual. For the legislators, I believe the answer is knowing the programs that will actually work, like our Veterans Treatment Program that Judge Anthony now presides over and is doing a fantastic job. It's still in its infancy point. But these, I think, are the solutions to the exact problem you're talking about.
Okay, and real quick, just a rebuttal, I gotta say this here. I have a couple of those men in my houses now, Veterans House over there, okay? I work with Travis Page, that's the DA of Gaston County. So I have conversations with him, and I'm actually a peer support specialist, and I help some of those veterans. They're in my house right now. I'm building 5 houses right now. I'm building 5 houses. Me and my wife and some of our fellowship, people that's been clean. I've been clean 15 years, and I got people that's been clean 35 years. Let me just be specific with y'all. Y'all don't look at our voices or hear our voices, and that's what I want. Donnie Lotters, man, last year I voted for him. He said he was going to do this, he was going to help us with the veteran thing. So we have people come up here and they say they're going to do this here, but after, if you speak, I'm not saying this about everybody. You know, so I'm down there with Travis, I'm down there with Judge Phillips, I'm down there with that veterans program that you're talking about. I got 7 women in the house over here. I got a house in Dallas, and we did that with our resources, grassroots. But just think what we could do if we get y'all to really look at us. We done been through this stuff, man. We got some success in there. That's what I'm telling you. I just want you to know who I am right now. And that's all, Mr. Overcash, not trying to disrespect you. I appreciate it. I'm going to pray for you. But that's what we need. We need somebody that don't want to just talk to us and then like forget about us until the next vote comes.
Well, let me go ahead before you have a seat. It's just this. We got some good information today. So one of the pieces that we got, I just want to get the takeaway. Judge, right? But he recommended that you go to county for the funding that you were talking about. So we want to, take it to them. And I know we're not going to get all the answers tonight. I know we got a lot of questions, but that's what I just heard, that the county was over that particular piece. So that's the one you have to go to.
That's my understanding.
But it's good that a seated judge can hear your heart. All right? And I want to go ahead and before you see, do you have anything that you wanted to bring from the state for just a few moments, any funding that may be available or any ideas that you may want to do?
Yeah, I think the judge hit the main thing, and I won't belabor the point. I mean, our DA came to me, our courthouse folks came to me earlier this year and said, we want to do this veteran treatment court. We don't have the money to do it, and we need you to go find it. And we did. We will keep supporting that program. We'll keep supporting other programs like that. As soon as I hear something about it, I got to work on it. Just like with the DOT out here, just like with veteran treatments, when the DA and the judges came to me and said, hey, this is what we need. It'll help our community. Including, there's a form that folks have to fill out when you're starting going through criminal proceedings. And there's a checkbox on there now. You're going to start seeing it. Are you a veteran or not? checking that box. What that does is that flags in the system. They don't get lost in the system anymore. So, I'd just say I'd love to continue to work with you. Thank you for all you're doing with Samantha's house, and I appreciate your question.
And the last thing I also want to say is too, I got 6 women in my house right now that can't get their licenses. They have jobs. They've been cleaning 2 years. Beg your pardon? All right, look, I got 6 women in my houses right now that's clean and serene, and they actually have jobs. But the thing about it is they still got those traffic violations where they can't have their own cars. I just bought a lady in the house. Me and my wife bought a lady in the house a car. We finally got it back. And so the thing about it is, if they can't ride to work after they be productive members of society, and they got to ask a man to take them to work, they put themselves in harm's way. And even when the judge is sitting on the bench, y'all got a lot of power to kind of consider that. If we can let peer support specialists come up there and let you know what their dilemmas are. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, 2 years ago they were using drugs, and they driving without licenses, and now they're productive members of society. Man, they well on their way, but people don't listen. I've been in the court. Actually, Judge Phillips, he's been and sat in the house. We done talked together. I done sat in the chambers with him. You know what I mean? So sometimes, man, somewhere along the line, when y'all talk about second chances, that's a part of second chances. And I appreciate it. I sit in your courtroom. I watch you a lot. I see how you engage with us. You got some sympathy and you got some empathy. You know what I mean? But there's some people up there that just don't care, man. And we need somebody to care, man. And that's what's happening in our communities today. We need somebody to care. I paid $150,000 in the house. And I don't know if you know much about me, but in 2015, my wife and my unborn son was killed in this county, right? And I remember, because see, I'm coming from the penitentiary. And I didn't have any resources. The only thing like we talk about is God that was in me. And I wanted to do right. And I didn't make any excuses. I got people that's parole officers in the federal government, man, that come in my house and sit down, and I go to different penitentiaries and I talk to people. And I try to encourage and motivate people, man. And we try to target. Jennifer Stepp, ask her about me. I know a lot of people in the counties up here, man. But it seems like it's a secret about where the monies that we need to take care of our people.
Well, I do want to appreciate all that you are doing. Because, no. It's one thing to say it, it's another thing to be doing. So I want to applaud you for all that you are doing. Because we're on a time schedule here tonight, I do want you to make mention of your name and any information that if somebody wants to contact you, a website perhaps, and that would be good. Okay.
Cornell Thomas, I'm a peer support specialist. I'm the CEO of Samantha Houses. I'm in the process of building 5 houses right now.
So Samantha, the key thing is, I'm out to do some help people with commercials.
Okay.
Samantha House.
Samantha's House.
Samantha's House.
A 501(c) nonprofit organization.
All right.
For women, for men, and for veterans.
That's it.
Okay, cool.
Thank
and
you.
that's my wife right there, Tracy
Yes.
Thomas, man. She's the professional here. Thank you.
Yes. And Brother Moderator, before you, I think she was ready. All right. And remember, if you can, do question, because I do want to let these gentlemen go. They were patient enough to wait. So we're going to go ahead. Whoever was next, please get your question, and for whichever candidate, not only these two, but you got all these candidates that are running.
Okay, I have 4 questions for Senator Overcash. Senator Overcash, question 1 is, what do you consider your greatest accomplishment since this has been your first term? Question 2, what would you like to see happen for Gaston County that has not been done? Question 3, are there any significant committees you serve on, and have you sponsored or co-sponsored any bills? That's all.
Thank you so much. I hope I can hit all those. I know you'll remind me if I miss one. I think our most significant achievement that I worked on. It was really a pet project of mine. I don't think I have to tell anybody in this room, we have a severe nursing shortage in this county and in this state. We're lacking appropriate health care workers across our community, and there's a lot of folks that pay a lot of lip service to this and dealing with this, but in Gaston County, we're dealing with it, and we're dealing with it directly. It starts at our community college, and I served for 4 years on the Board of Trustees. Judge Collins was on that board with us at the Gaston College. I had the privilege of serving as the chairman of Gaston College. They approached me. The head of Caramount Hospital approached me, and now the largest remaining independent hospital in this state, and that's something we ought to all be proud of. Even Atrium and Novant approached. And they said, what we need is we need a regional health science center right here in Gaston County. There's nothing like it in this part of the state. We need what they call a nursing simulation lab, and that's something that existing nurses can come and get real world practice on. And so we were able to secure over the next 2 years, this 2-year budget, what was required to do this, a $60 million appropriation coming right here to Gaston County for the Regional Health Science Center. I am told that is going to wipe out our nursing shortage in this area for time to come. And they're going to house what the early college program for high school students. If you want to go to the early, let me get the name right, Gaston College Early College for Medical Sciences, you can do so. You can go down to Gaston College, you can enroll in this program, and that's going to be rolled into this Regional Health Science Center. And you can go for 4 years, and you come out, not only you come out with your high school diploma, and this is a public school, public resource for us and for our people here. You come out with your high school diploma, you also come out with your 2-year associate's degree in the healthcare field. Now, I'm very proud of that, not only because we're going to wipe out the nursing shortage in this state, but we're going to give folks an opportunity to spend 4 years in a public school right here in Gaston County and come out with real life skills, with real abilities in the area of healthcare to make a difference and care for people right here in Gaston County, continue to strengthen our independent health systems and the surrounding area. And I would say that's what I'm most proud of. That's going to be coming online in the near future, those appropriations coming in this year, 2023-2024 budget, and then 2024-2025 budget. I'm going to continue to work on that and make sure that's a seamless transition. I've met with the president of the college. I met with others at the college that are rolling that out, the head of the hospital system and others. So I'm going to continue, should you choose to send me back for another 2 years, I want to continue to make sure that gets rolled out and appropriately handled. I think for future work and for future needs of this county, I believe was the second part of the question. Again, I think we need to see some of those programs through. We've talked about a lot of starts. Well, it's easy to start things, and sometimes it's difficult to finish things. And I'm one that believes that you've sent me up to the state senate to get things done, not just start things. Let's finish them. I want to see that health sciences through to fruition. I want to help make sure that we're seeing the Veterans Treatment Court that we've already talked about go through to fruition. And my main guidepost, should you send me back for a second term, is going to be the same one that was for this term. And that is, as we identify needs for this county, go to Raleigh, remind people where Gaston County is, who we are, what we're doing. I'm telling folks, they don't know this across the state. I'm sorry to say this. They don't know how the high quality of people we have here and the opportunities we have here and the growth opportunities we have here. They don't know that we're the 9th largest county in the 9th largest state in the country. And I've been reminding them of that every single moment I get. For big projects like the Regional Health Science Center, for smaller projects like dealing with DOT all along this road, it wasn't just dealing with Center Baptist, we're dealing with have access to Byram's restaurant down here. They got to be able to get trucks in. You got to have that so people can eat and they can serve their community. So large items, small items, it's my goal to continue to bring a seriousness of purpose to represent and fight for folks here in Gaston County. And that's what I've done, and that's what I'll continue to do. I appreciate your question. Thank you.
We're gonna ask, the moderator to, you sure? Okay, we're gonna ask that you would get to the mic. And while she's coming to the mic, something that came up that's very important, and I thank you once again for your patience. We're gonna ask you to come on up in just a moment, right after this question, and go ahead and do your stump speech. But one thing that I want everybody to keep in mind is this: what I've noticed with government, I haven't been in the military for 7 years and contracting for about 10. One of the things that I realize is stuff take time. Stuff take time. Sometimes it takes too long. And so I want to leave with all of those that are running for position and those that are running for re-election. One of the things I do want you to think about is making sure that you keep those that are looking for something informed. Because sometimes a vote is coming up on something and they need to know that I haven't forgot about you. Here's an obstacle. I need you to call this senator or this House of Representative person to go ahead and get something freed up. So I do want to encourage people to think along those lines. All these people, I just went right down to the not courthouse, but the Board of Elections, got everybody's number. You can go on the website, get their number, call them, email them, talk to them. They say they want to represent you, so tell them what you want. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Tracy Thomas, and I was just thinking while you were talking about the DOT, and one of my concerns was that individuals not having transportation, no buses running, they can only work to a certain time because of the lack of transportation, and then looking at how the transportation affects employment, looking at food deserts, because we do have food deserts. We have a lot of rural areas here. We have children, women and children. I do trauma therapy and with the course system, mostly in Shelby, but we have women and children that can't get needs met. If the mother's an addict, the child is going to suffer. So I guess my question is, what are you doing about ensuring that transportation is, how do we extend that process? And when we work with parents in substance abuse, what do we do to consider the kids and putting them together? Because we can't just fix one. We have to work on the family unit, whatever that consists of. What's your plan? Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. It really is important. And Dr. Crawford mentioned it earlier. It's the best thing I think we can do at a forum like this is make sure you're informed and empowered to go to the right people who can make the right changes that you want to advocate for. And this is a good example of it. We have something called a Metropolitan Planning Organization. I didn't come up with the name. Don't groan and don't kill the messenger. It's called the Metropolitan Planning Organization. It's local elected officials, and we have a Gaston County Metropolitan Planning Organization. It is lumped in with both Cleveland and Lincoln counties. That is the organization that deals with direct decisions on local transportation issues. Also, your city governments make decisions on what type of transit issues, meaning bus routes and other things they want to do, vans, buses, more of those super localized type decisions. So the Metropolitan, Gaston, Cleveland, Lincoln, MPO, GCL MPO, and that has several, I can't call all their names, but it has several of your local elected officials, meaning municipal government officials on that. They make those down to the level decisions. State government's role is to provide DOT with funding mechanisms on a top line basis, okay? But the decisions on, what road is going to go where, how's it going to be, are you going to have a bike and pedestrian path on it, are you going to, how are you going to do it, are you going to have a median, et cetera, et cetera. Those are decisions made by the GCL MPO. I mentioned DOT earlier. just as an example of one of the things that comes up from time to time that I put in the bucket of constituent services. I'm not on the GCL MPO. Nobody's asking state government, do we need what should we do with this local road or this bus route? That's not, I don't think we want Raleigh making those decisions. We really need those decisions to be made locally, and they are made locally. I just mentioned DOT to say, I am doing my best to have and keep relationships in this county. I'm not here because, okay, I got invited to a forum. I'm here because I have an ongoing relationship and friendship with the host of the forum. He has my cell phone number. If he calls me, I answer the phone, just like I will for y'all. And it came to my attention that this widening of New Hope Road was impacting lots of businesses and churches. I'll give you an example of City Church, just up the road. I've already talked about the parking lot here at Center Baptist. I've mentioned Byram's. Well, City Church, based on how the GCL MPO had designed it and DOT had designed it, was only going to allow you to turn into City Church one direction. Couldn't turn into it two directions. Well, I don't know about y'all. You need to be able to get into your church either way you're coming from. If you live on one side of the church, you ought to be able to go in and turn in. You live on the other side of the church, you ought to be able to go and turn in. Even though that's not a state government function, that's a constituent services function. That's a fighting for people of Gaston County function. And so I'm proud to say that after my intervention and others, there's going to be an accommodation made so that you can, if you're coming from this direction or this direction, you can now turn into City Church. But your direct answer to that, being told to give concrete take-homes, your GCL MPO, and they have public meetings, and they do have public comment periods. A lot of people don't show up at them. And so if you show up, I'm telling you, you'll be heard, and there usually won't be a big long line out the door. So you may be the only one there. That stuff matters. It matters at every level of government. So that's that. But I appreciate your question, and I appreciate your interest in that very important topic.
All right, well, my name is Jonathan Fletcher, and I am running for Register of Deeds. First, I want to say thank you for being here. This kind of dialogue is what makes things change in government, and I know, as you said, it takes a while, but having these conversations and sometimes having them over and over and over again is just what it takes. They say the squeaky wheel gets the grease, and although that's unfortunate, sometimes that's what we have to do to get things done, so I appreciate everything that I've heard tonight. So I am running for Register of Deeds, and people ask me all the time, what does the Register of Deeds do? So you may know, but I'm going to give you a little bit of background into what the Register of Deeds does. So our office is responsible for keeping records, all of our vital records for the county, every person that's born, every person that passes away, every person that gets married here in Gaston County. We have a record of that we keep in our office. Also, we keep records of land transactions that happen. So when you buy or sell property, we keep records of that and other important documents like power of attorney and those kind of things. We also are a passport acceptance facility. So a lot of things that goes on in our office. And why is that important? Why is it an elected position? One of the reasons is because this particular position has a lot of staff, and there's a lot of, let's just say it. We know how the government works. There's a lot of opportunity for corruption in some cases. And so our founders of our state were very smart, and they said, you know what? It's probably not a good idea that this person who's responsible for all of these records be somebody that's just appointed by somebody at the county level or at the state level. We want to allow the voters to have a say on who that person is. And so that's why this is an elected position. And I currently work in the Register of Deeds office with our current Register of Deeds. Her name is Susan Lockridge. You may know her. And she's done an excellent job being our register for about 20 years now. This will be her 20th year. She is actually retiring at the end of her term this year. And I've been working in the office with her as her assistant, and so I am running to take her place. And I'm very excited about that and very honored to have her support in this race. So just to tell you a little bit about me, I do, of course, have experience working in the office. But I also helped my grandfather manage his small business for over 13 years, Wyatt & Son Monument Company. He passed away, unfortunately, last year. Very big hit to our community as well, losing him. But I was able to help him manage that business, and I learned a lot working in that small business with him. I learned a lot about how to deal with people, because when you work in that industry of monuments, you learn what it's like dealing with people at their, in many cases, the most tragic points of their life. And so now that I'm working in the Register of Deeds office, as people come in to get their death certificates and things like that, I certainly have a much better understanding of what they're going through than I would have if I didn't have that background. In addition to that, I have served on many county boards and committees, about 20 years of combined experience doing that. So I have a lot of different experience there, leading different organizations. As I mentioned, unlike many elected official positions, Senator Overcash, he has one person that he has to hire. In the Register of Deeds office, we have about 17. So it's what I like to call a real job, because you're working with a real county budget, you're working with real people that you have to hire and make sure that the office is running well. And so I want to continue the legacy of excellence that Susan has started, and I want to continue to look at all of our processes, look at ways that we can make our government more efficient. The Register of Deeds office is one of only 2 county departments that actually brings in more money than it spends. And I want to make sure that when we do spend money, that we're spending it wisely, because it's your money. It's not my money, it's your money. So with that, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you being here. I have cards with me. My wife, Kayla, is here in the back. Wave at everybody, my lovely wife. We just got married about, I guess it's 13 months ago, 14 months ago. So we are newlyweds still. And she knew what she was getting into, so getting on the campaign trail here, but I appreciate her support with me here tonight. I have cards if you'd like to learn more about me, but I would just appreciate an opportunity to get to talk to you tonight as much as possible. So thank you very much.
There you go. Listen, come on and give all the candidates that are here and those that left a hand. Wow. We've had 6 candidates that are running for various offices that were able to come on tonight, and we do want to continue with the Q&A, but I do want to tell you this, I believe it's going to be October the 7th, Monday, October the 7th. Please mark your calendars. We'll be having the political forum. Now, unlike this one, a lot of folks have said they're looking forward to being here because this is going to be a rough election coming up for the various issues that are coming. So I ask that you would mark your calendars for October the 7th, Monday, October the 7th. We'll be having the political forum right before the November election. The primaries, as you know, are there out in the foyer. You have all of the sample ballots, and it's more than one, so you have to take a look at which one is the area that you'll be voting for. There's some more information that you'll be able to see that's out there on the table. Election, the primary election, early voting, and when it starts, which is the 15th, and all the information you'll need so that you'll be able to make your choices known. Okay? So we'll go ahead and continue now. Moderator, I don't know if you were next or if Mayor was next. I don't know which one was next, but whichever one, y'all flip on it and go ahead and all candidates, please feel free to answer. Has anyone else came in that I overlooked that's running for office? Okay, all right. Well, good to see you, Pastor Moses, there. And we'll go ahead and in just a moment after the moderator, we'll go ahead and see anybody else got any questions.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Crawford. Thank you, Dr. Floyd, as well. For Mr. Fletcher, thank you for being patient. We realized that was kind of a little bit of an anomaly, but we thank you for being patient with us today. I had a question for Ms. Morgenstern. I know you're going, you're running unopposed, and you have a great list of areas of concern you wanted to address, and they're all admirable. I would kind of highlight some of the things that are on your list since you are going to office. In that respect, please be conscious of our plight in our community. And when I say the plight in our community right now, of course, we're talking about the homeless situation, our fentanyl outbreak, that are all concerns for us right now. Families are being destroyed, and we know how they impact us. I can tell that you're a sensitive person, empathetic to our needs just by your presentation today. So I have no doubt that you will do a great job in propelling that, those concerns to those of our constituents in Congress. Also, I wanted to make sure that Dr. Mullins, I'm sorry, we didn't know that she was going to leave. There were a couple of questions because even though she's running for county commissioners, those are the positions that really impact our community right off the bat, and I did not hear what district she was going to be representing. Beg pardon? The township, okay, okay. All right, that's important as we rally our troops to make sure that they support or at least know who's available there in that respect. Mr. Creech, you were running for state senate against Mr. Overcash, and I know a lot of the questions went to Mr. Overcash. We don't want to overlook you. I'd like for you to address some of your concerns, primary priorities, if you will, if provided you get that office. What are your concerns? What are your platform that you really want to make sure happens? If you'll give us at least 3 of those priorities right off the bat, I'd appreciate it.
Like I said, my whole thing is about representing people and helping people, caring about the needs. I know Brad Overcash and the judge just mentioned a lot of things about, hey, you know, you should just go to this person, you should go to these different people, but a lot of people don't know that, right? You got to get the word out. So maybe what I should do instead is probably put that information out there from time to time for some of the churches, like Center Baptist, like Tabernacle Baptist Church. It's a ton of churches here, and you can get that information out there about, you know, places that you can go for opioid abuse. Places that you can go for battered women. That's the key right there. People don't know, so how are they gonna go? And then when election time comes around, you have an opportunity to say, oh yeah, you just should, this is where you should go. Maybe that, my first agenda would be to let people know, get them involved. Then my second would be to make sure I'm listening. All right, give an opportunity to go out and give some time that you're going to be in a place. Give them a place that they can meet with you, and you can just listen to people about the different issues that they may be having, not just during election time. You know, we need to set that up maybe monthly, quarterly, whenever you can do it. It needs to be done more than just election time, you know. So, listening to people and making sure that those things get implemented. All right.
The floor is open for anyone that would like to come on up.
Good evening. I am Dr. Sanders, and I'm not new to Gastonia, but I have been in Gastonia for like the last 9-10 years. And I have several questions. I'm kind of all over the place, but Mr. Creech, I want to applaud you for sharing your abuse. Many of us that may know me, I have shared my abuse and just completed a 187-page doctorate dissertation on domestic violence. And so while my project dealt with the women that were abused, couldn't find any men that would be willing to share. So really, when we talk about statistics and data regarding domestic violence and those types of things, a lot of cases go unreported. And so I stand before you because I'm a survivor of both domestic violence and sexual assault, come from a whole different state, in the state of Illinois. And my mother did not live. My mother was murdered as a result. And so for me, you know, you did my heart good, you blessed me tonight because you were not afraid to share that. And so as far as your platform is concerned, I think you should, and this is just me, be more vocal about that, because I've talked to legislators in Raleigh, both House and Senate, couldn't get people to follow back up with me. So people are not wanting to talk about it. Oftentimes, that's a topic that's swept under the rug in the church. And it's time to talk about it. God has clearly spoken. If you want to be delivered, you got to talk about it. So I just want to leave that with you. Then, your dear friend here, Miss, yes, you had a number of things on your plate. And as a new candidate running uncontested, this is just as a suggestion, you're going to have to narrow it down. Because even through this conversation tonight, I haven't heard anything yet about gun violence and some of the other things that really affect our communities. And, you know, I don't want anyone to leave here thinking that I'm feeling some kind of way because we all don't look alike. But in our community, we are affected. And we need people that's going to be vocal about what our needs are and not intimidated. And so, you know, if that's you, then, you know, I'm sure the vote would be there. But that is a concern for me because it is affecting our kids. The gun violence, all the stuff that's going on, I mean, it affects everybody. So what are we doing about that? I haven't heard anything yet.
Raising that question to them?
Yes, I'm raising the question. Whosoever will, let them stand and answer. Thank you.
Thank you, you know, for those questions. And on my card, I do address the list is long. Gun violence is on that list. Opioid crisis is on my list. And prioritizing is difficult for me when everything is a priority. But really, when I look at the gun laws here, one of the first things I think about, we have a yellow flag law, not the red flag law. You know, what did we just do last year? We loosened the gun laws. So I know a lot of this is unpopular and I don't know how popular it is here, but I don't know why we have assault weapons on the streets at all. We should ban them. I'm going to say that out loud. We should ban assault weapons, period. The police officers are outgunned, outweaponized. We have more guns on the street in America than we do human beings. You know, that's a problem. I'm tight friends with people who are community activists, Black friends. There's rarely a week that goes by that I don't hear about someone being shot here, there, all over Gaston County. It's heartbreaking. Guns are not being locked up. There's a law in place in this state that says you are supposed to lock up your weapons. They don't lock them up. Kids get a hold of them. We hear these stories every day. Someone gets a hold of the parent's weapon, or the kid turns 18. He can walk right down the street, from school, turn 18, he can still be in high school. Go get whatever weapon of his choice, strap an AR onto his chest, walk down the street, and it's legal. That is legal here in this state. So you bet that is a priority of mine. And the opioid crisis, that is something absolutely too. You know, we have to address that. You know, the people dying here. We got to look at what can we do about this. We've got to find, I think there are going to be mental health issues to deal with. There are going to be drug abuse issues to deal with. There's going to be a whole lot to deal with. You all, the work you're doing, I commend you for your work, the work you are doing. But we have to have enough resources and people knowing how to access those resources. And without getting into a huge story of a family member of mine, someone who went homeless. She had a mental health issue. She also became a drug addict. She was gone for 4 years. That was my sister, 15 months older than me. That was in California. And I can tell you this story, and hopefully without breaking down, because there is a happy ending. But what it took to get her the help, it took the village. You know, I'm now getting familiar with what village means. And there were members of my own family who just denied that there was anything wrong. They didn't understand that she had a mental health issue, that in order for her to get off the drugs, they had to address the mental health issue. She had to go through detox. I took it on with her for a full year of my life because I didn't want her to die. 7 different treatment centers. Some who wouldn't accept her because she had a violent streak. She had the violent streak because she had mental health issues. She had the mental health issues exacerbated by drugs, street drugs, homeless with kids. And when the state came in and took those kids away from my family and said, you all are enablers. You're enabling that woman. They were right. So I'm saying there are going to be concerns that I will when I need to speak up. But I do believe we need to have the resources available. We need to know that when you get that person in, however it is that you get them in, they're not gonna say, oh yeah, I really wanna come and get treatment. A lot of times it takes years. And with my sister, it took years and years and years. And we said, when's she gonna hit rock bottom? When's that gonna happen? Well, the rock bottom was when she eventually was jailed. And when I took her out of that jail and took her to a treatment, but it took several attempts to get her into the treatment because people are like, she has a violent streak. No, we don't want her. We don't want her. We don't want her. We can't take her. Because a lot of times these treatment centers don't have the training for the mental health part of it, right? So you know how that whole process is. And then once you get them to this first phase, to get them to phase 2, who's holding their hand there? Who's going to hold them to the next step? You know, getting them off this, not only off the drugs or detoxed enough to then have them properly diagnosed, and then so on and so on and so on. So yes, I appreciate your questions because they are very important, and I really would love a chance to sit down with any of y'all with some creative ideas. I don't know, but I do believe we need more resources and understand how we link each step of the way, because it's not just all in the hands of one social worker, caregiver. It's not, so thank you.
I'm gonna be real short on that one as well. The thing is just like Ms. Pam said, she's gonna be an excellent person working in the North Carolina House. But like she said, I don't know everything. So it's best to hear from the people. So my job, I feel like, is to get you in front of the right people. And how are we going to do that? And the first thing we got to do, just like Pam said, I need to listen to you. So we need to have more settings so that your people like whoever's in the state senate, whoever's your leaders can hear from you. You know, maybe we're in an environment just like this, and we get an opportunity to hear from people. Because I can't just be sitting up there making choices for you. I need to hear your needs. And then I need to get you in front of the right people. Because I'm going to be honest with you, maybe I don't have the same passion for opioid addiction as you do. I need to get somebody with that kind of passion in front of the right people.
What we're gonna do is, I'm gonna ask Mary Ann to come up and she's gonna go over the voting dates and all of that. And then I want you to go ahead and be next on, and make sure that you get to the mic. Everybody has to get to the mic so those can hear at home. We get text messages, I can't hear. So we wanna make sure that they can hear at home and other places. Also keep in mind that this is recorded. So you'll be able to go on our website and in the archives and you'll be able to look it up once again. Take advantage of going to the Board of Elections if you haven't already, even to their website. Get these people's names and phone numbers and emails. Tell them. That's where I got their information. I just went up there and got it. I said that again because I want you to make sure that you stay in contact with them and let them know. Before she does this, I do want to say this piece right here. We need to, whoever's elected, two things, short-term as well as long-term solutions. A lot of times we focus on the long-term and some of that stuff can take 5 and 6 years. The last 20 years, I've been trying to get a monument on the state capitol grounds to represent African-American heritage about what's been going on, working with the last 3 governors to try to get that done. And because of all the other things that have been going on around the state with Confederate monuments, it kind of put it on a back burner. But I'm still working. I'm still serving on the African American Heritage Commission, and I'm still trying to go ahead and get that done, and I'm doing other things while I'm getting that done. So I want to encourage you to keep at it. You got to have a stick-to-itiveness, but you want to get short-term as well as long-term things done. Come on, Mary.
Okay, Cora and Pam. Everybody in North Carolina think they need to have a gun. I talked to a lady who has a gun shop. She has a 6-shooter, tell my husband, strapped on her ankle, a 9 on her side, and a derringer in her bra. If she believes in that, she'll not kill. Whose life she talking about? Hers or somebody else's? Anyway, everybody knows me. Early voting starts Thursday, 15th. It goes to March the 2nd. We have 4 sites open this time: the Board of Election, Mount Holly, the Community Center in Dallas, and the library. I need people working every hour on the hour, at least 2 people at those sites. So every church, Moderator Reed is going to send a sheet out for every church to have people sign up to help work those sites. The Board of Election, we need people at the top and the bottom of the hill. Now, that can be an ugly site, but not as ugly as Mount Holly. So we don't need thin-skinned people working because we got mean people showing up. If you can't handle it, don't come. But we do need people coming to work these sites. So please sign up to work. Because I need help. I'm getting old, but I'm still hanging in there. So sign up if you can. Thank you.
Right after she comes with her question, and thank you so much, then Glenn Bratton, dealing with the Divine Nine, we're going to ask him that he will come and share.
Thank you. Corey Creed. I heard your heart when you shared, and I had those same experiences that you had with the abuse and foster care. I just didn't do football, but everything else, I was there. But when I asked the question about the transportation and the food deserts and disparities. And I understood the answer with broadening streets and making entrances so people could get into church comfortably. But, and I understand too that the giving me the name of who to go to, but I'm wondering, like, because like I want to know, do you have a dog in the fight? You know, I want to know that you're interested in the poverty, you're interested in the transportation and people not having it. I know you may not be able to do anything about it per se because you're in Raleigh, and I'm definitely not asking Raleigh to fix our issues. I just want to know that if you're representing us in Raleigh, that you still have a dog in the fight, that it's not, well, you just go to those people because they can answer it. I just want to know, and if you don't do stuff like that, then why are you going to Raleigh? Why am I voting for you specifically and I know you may not have that same passion, but I need to know that you see these issues and you know it, and that while you're leading me to those people, that you would be willing to walk with us to those same people because that issue is important to you. You get the question? Okay, thank you.
Like I said before, I have a heart for the people. I have a heart for all people. And I gave you a little bit of a glimpse in my life because I wanted to let you know that this is how God raised me. I was abused. I also was in some of the not great neighborhoods. Matter of fact, every other day I was fighting. You know, when I was 11 years old, someone pulled a knife out on me. I had to knock the knife out his hand. I was one of those ones that wanted to really do better, but didn't get that. Well, I actually got the opportunity. God gave me the opportunity. I'm also a military vet, so as soon as I got the opportunity, I went to basic training right out of high school. So, and I'm also a Operation Desert Storm vet. I was called for the first Desert Storm War. So my heart is for people. I've been in just about every situation you could probably think about. Well, not every, but a lot of situations. I've got enough experience behind my belt to feel what you feel. I'm able to put myself in your shoes. Why, you know, some people may not care about your street. I do. Because I knew at one time someone didn't care about my street. I knew at one time when I was praying to God, why am I getting beat every night? I'm there for you. But when I go to Raleigh to vote on legislation, I'm voting because I have a heart for people. I'm not just going to go up there and vote on stuff, and I don't care about you. People are getting they bring up this abortion thing. I'm not going to just go into that, but the thing about it, that every situation is different. I can't just put some specific law. We need to hear about that situation. So I want you to know that if you vote for me, I'm voting for I'm coming up there voting for everybody. I'm making votes that's going to help everybody. I'm voting on stuff, on legislation that's for the people. Not for me, not to go up there and say I did a good job. I'm actually going up there to do for people. God has worked on me so many years. I'm not old, but I've been around enough. I'm 53 years old. I've been around long enough, and God has took me through a number of things that has allowed me to be able to step into your shoes and feel what you feel and want to make the right choice, the right vote for the people I represent.
Thank you so much. I'm going to change it up just a little bit, and thank you for sharing your heart and your passion, and thank you all for the questions that you have, because it makes a difference when these folks go that want to represent us and they get elected. They can remember what was said here on tonight. What I want to do is, right before Glenn comes up, we had another candidate that was able to make it in, so I want to give him 5 minutes, as I have 3 to 5 minutes to all the others. And then we'll have Glenn to go ahead, and then Moses, you've been right after that, okay? Yeah, I appreciate it. And then we'll be ready to wrap up at 9, and you'll be able to stay and to mingle with your constituents, each and every one of you, and we will close down at 9:30, okay? So, if you will, come on, Blair. Grab any mic you want.
I don't think I need a mic.
Yep, they gotta hear you at home, so you gotta have a mic where they can, you're live.
Gotta have a mic. Hey Glenn, how you doing? Hadn't seen you in a while. My name's Blair Hall, and I'm running for Gaston County Commissioner for Crowders Mountain Township. He's gonna have a hard time following me, y'all, because my feet move while I talk, so he's gonna have a hard time following me. The reason, right now, I'll tell you about me. I'm a United States Marine. I'm a retired Gaston County police officer with 25 years of service to Gaston County, and I'm now currently the Gaston County School Safety and Security Specialist. And I'm gonna tell you, I followed Glenn Bratton's shoes. I can give that man the credit for the programs and the policies that he built and put in place. We have some really good plans that him and Mark Holler built. I give you credit, I give you and Mark credit all the time about our plans. All I'm doing now is tightening those up. I'm bringing some tactical experience to the school systems to make them more readily understand what's gonna happen whenever we actually have an incident in our schools. I had a friend of mine ask me one time, he said, give me 5 reasons why I need to vote for you. One is I know I'm not the smartest person in the room. But what I do is I surround myself with smart people. I did that as a Marine, I did that as a county police officer, and I ended up retiring as a sergeant over vice narcotics in the county police. So I do that. Number 2 is if I see a duck, I call it a duck. If it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, what is it? It's a duck, and you have to call it a duck. You can't call it a tree. You can't call a tree a fence post. So you just can't do it. Number 3 is I support our police, our fire, our EMS, and our EMTs. I'm 100% behind them. I support them 100%. They're the ones who are out here putting their life on the line for each and every one of us every day. We send our troops off to battle. They go off and they do 6 months. They go off and do a year. Our police officers get up every morning and strap on the exact same equipment, bulletproof vest, and a gun on their hip, and they prepare for battle every day. They prepare for battle every day. So I support them 150%. The next reason, and probably the most important reason, is our teachers. My wife's a teacher, but she's been a teacher for 30 plus years. She's fixing to retire. We want to have economic development in this county. We can't do that without an educated workforce. We have to have an educated workforce. And who's educating our kids? Our teachers. Our teachers right now are they're $2,124 below the state average when it comes to teacher supplement. We rank 9th out of the top 10 counties in the state of North Carolina for teacher supplement. So that is the primary reason why I'm running, is to help bring our teachers up to a pay where they'll stay. We've got classrooms that have 40 kids in them and have empty classrooms because we don't have teachers. So we have to bring teachers back, get them to stay, and have them, because that's how we're going to have a good qualified workforce, is by having people in our schools. The Gaston County Commission says that their primary goal, under their goals and objectives, is to work with the school board and Gaston College to provide a quality education. How can you provide a quality education if you can't recruit and retain qualified, motivated, dedicated teachers? How can you do that? You can't. You can't. You have to have teachers to do that. So I am running for Gaston County Commissioner, Crowders Mountain Township, and I'm here to, if you want to ask any questions, but vote for Blair Hall, y'all. Vote for Blair Hall, y'all. You know, some other people's got some funny things. That's mine. That's mine. But I'm here for you. I served this country as a Marine when I was 19 years old. I spent my 19th birthday at Parris Island. And I've been serving this country, I've been serving this county, and I've been serving our children since I was 19 years old. And I'm asking for people to put me in a position now where I can continue to serve and actually help the citizens of Gaston County in other different ways. So thank you.
Good evening. My name is Glenn Bratton, and I'm representing the Divine Nine, the fraternities and sororities in Gaston County. And as a member of Alpha Phi Alpha, we have a saying, a voteless people is a hopeless people. So there are a lot of things in Gaston County that need to be changed. But unless we vote and get involved, and the Divine Nine will help you as much as possible, you have got to understand who you're voting for. The main thing you have to do is do background checks on these folks. And I'm not saying you got to go and pull up information. Follow the people that are running. Follow the candidates. Look at what they're doing. Look at the county commission, the city council, and all of your small towns. How many people are they putting on committees so that they are diverse? Or are we just putting friends in positions? When I walk in the Register of Deeds office, is it diversified? When I walk in other places, is it diversified? And I'm not saying put people in places just to put them there. We're talking about qualified people that can do the job. That's one of the things that I pushed as a county police officer. I served 30 years. And again, I never asked anybody to promote me or do anything special for me, because I'm going to be just as good or better than you are. But don't hold it against me because of where I come from or what I look like. So again, do your homework on people that are in office now. Are they appointing any of us to committees so that it's diverse and fair? Look at those things so that you'll know before you vote. Well, I don't think this person is going to be for my best interest. We are behind Gaston County. We've got to come up. We've got to make it more fair. You'll have people to tell you this and they'll tell you that. But I'm looking at what you're doing in your day-to-day operations, how you're treating me, and how you're treating people in general. So again, as the Divine Nine, we're here to help you, and anything that we can do to help you as far as voting, we'll do it to assist. Thank you very much.
My name is Moses Colbert. I'm here to represent HCI, which is the Homeless Coalition Initiative, and we, along with Faith, Hope, and Love Community Enrichment Ministry, we serve a great deal of the homeless population here in our county, in our city, and in our neighborhoods. And on the day-to-day, we see so many that are giving up from mental health, substance abuse, depression, and just not being heard. And I'm here to bring attention to those that are dying. Scripture teaches us that we see our brothers overtaken in a fall, we that are spiritual should restore such a one with the spirit of meekness, considering ourselves, lest we also be tempted. Now, homelessness touches everybody's life in here. Drugs touch everybody's life in here. Mental health touches everybody's life in here. So we have the same story. So we can really come together and make something good happen. I got information for you, Cornell, with your veterans program. And I will share it with you after this, but I don't want to say that before it went by. 70 years old, things just go sometimes, you know. Sometimes you get it and sometimes you get hit by it. See, Greg, you don't understand that because you're still young. See? So but we do understand, amen, that one thing about life is filled with swift transgressions, amen. but I thank God that we're still here. And we need help with helping those that are in need. We've been shouldering this burden for 21 years. And I'm gonna say it again, we need help. The homeless people have nowhere else to turn. They are depending on us. We that are strong should bear the infirmities of those that are weak. They need us. And quite frankly, we need them. Real ministry is finding a need and meeting that need. We need them in order to make it to heaven. We got to work, amen. Scriptures say, work out your own soul salvation with fear and trembling. We need them. And I need you to help us to help them. You can go on our website, fhlrescuemission.org. You can holler out there and I hear you, amen. So I'm not hard to find, not at all, amen. So you can find us if you want to get involved. And it's not all about money all the time. It's about us showing up in numbers. This is an election year, and this is very important. So I have committed myself and my lovely wife. We're going all over the state of North Carolina, making people aware of the need to vote, making people aware of the plight of the homeless, the hurting, the confused, those that are just downright lost, the ones that we got family members that we think, well, I can't deal with them. I can't handle that. But there's somebody that God has anointed that can. And we need to entrust it into their hands. We need to create wraparound programs where we can deal with the mental health, substance abuse needs, and life skills, job skills, life skills. Life skills, job skills, and whatever kind of skills they need. We need this. With the veterans program, we got veterans that have served our country faithfully to come back here and live under a bridge, live in a tent. And this is not nothing to be proud of, but we were in the news cycle for 7 straight days nationally, not including locally now, nationally. I'm getting phone calls from everywhere. What's going on in Gastonia? As if I had time, I'd tell you, but we working over here. We trying to make this thing work. And all of it wasn't good, no, because news is, but we look at it from the perspective of, if somebody hear about what's going on, maybe somebody will come and help. You yell fire long enough and loud enough, somebody's gonna come out. We yelling fire, y'all need to come out and help because we need your help. We have, God bless you, doctor, we thank you. God bless you, God bless you, God bless you. You elected officials, we are depending on all of you to allow our voices to be heard. You know, and this is my first time meeting you, my brother, but I can tell that God has allowed you to go through something for a reason. And it's a reason why you're here tonight. So is all of the rest of us. Am I my brother's keeper? Somebody didn't get that. Am I my brother's keeper? Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. If you're not willing to give up everything, then maybe you're not. If you're not willing to die, then maybe you're not. If you're not willing to invest everything you got into what you believe in, then what are you believing in? I'll leave that there. It wasn't a question, it was a statement. God bless you.
Well, I definitely want to thank everyone once again for coming. We do have just 6 more minutes left. And once again, we do ask all candidates that if you can, to stay from 9 until 9:30 to mingle with your constituents. There were some questions, of course, that couldn't be answered or may not have been appropriate to ask, that you may be able to go ahead and pull the candidates to the side so that you can go ahead and talk to them about it. Education is going to be key. It's going to be paramount that we learn which position does what and hold them accountable, you know, because I've seen people talk about school buses over the city council meeting, and they don't deal with school buses. You have to go over to the county, you have to go to the state, and have to deal with the federal level. Let's just use one example, and I know I'm preaching to the choir because many of you know the various positions and how they are manned, for lack of a better term. So please pay attention and do that. I want to thank each one of you once again for coming on out. Come on and give our candidates a hand once again. And Brother President, is there anything you would like to say before we close on out? All right, did you notice that there was any questions or anything that came across? No questions came across. Okay, we want to check that on Facebook and on YouTube.
Yeah, here you go.
Would you put your hands together and give our moderator and host a wonderful round of applause? Didn't he do a beautiful job? He did an awesome job, amen. And so we're grateful for you again to be a part of the Gaston County Progressive Coalition. We thank you for the political part of it. You do an excellent job, sir. And as we always say, God has something else special for you.
Bless you, sir. Thank you so much, Mr. President. We thank you for that. We just want to see everybody, be actively involved. Go out and vote. Tell others to do so. Listen, I want to leave you with this. When people say, well, I ain't got nobody to vote for. I don't like this one. I don't like that one. Look at the one that you sure enough don't want to get in, whoever that is, and vote for the other one. Because one of them going to get in. And if you sit at home and say, well, I don't like either one of them, okay, you may sure enough not like what some of the other ones do. So please vote. Look at what the issues are and make sure that you stay informed and see what they're talking about. And then go ahead and vote accordingly. All right? All hearts and minds are clear. Everybody good to go? Haven't overlooked anyone? Thank you once again for your patience, too. And thank you for staying. For those that are home or watching, remember once in just the next few days, this will be available to be in our archives. Always remember Center Baptist Church, Gastonia, North Carolina. Use the letters cbcgnc.org. And of course, now's the time for a commercial right before we go to break. So we have service at 8 o'clock every Sunday morning, early morning service. And then we have Sunday school at 9. And then we have another service at 10 a.m. And you are more than welcome to come on out, wear your shouting shoes, give God the praise that he so richly deserves. So we're thankful for you coming. On Wednesday, we have noonday Bible study, 12 to 1, and then again from 6:30 to 7:30. So you're welcome to come. Now you can look on our website, Center Baptist Church, once again, cbcgnc.org, and you can see our newsletter, tell you everything that we got going. All right. All hearts and minds are clear. Everybody good to go? Let us go ahead and stand. We're going to ask one of the great past moderators of the Gaston County Missionary Baptist Association, one whose shoulders I had stood on when I was moderator, to come and lead us in closing prayer. And then we ask that you would stay, and that being in the person of Reverend Dr. Darrell Jackson.
Thank you, my big brother, for allowing me to have this great opportunity to close out tonight. I am very mindful in what God said in his words, and whatever we do, always acknowledge him. He shall and he will direct our paths. Now, as we get ready to be dismissed tonight, gracious Lord, our Heavenly Father, God, we want to thank you for all of the candidates that showed up tonight. And Father, I pray that you bless each and every one of them. And I pray, God, you bless the ones that maybe wasn't able to get out here tonight. And I pray, God, you would give us the wisdom enough to vote for the one we think might be the best. But God, give us traveling mercy tonight as we get ready to be dismissed from this political forum. And I want to pray for our host pastor, which is Pastor Pierre Crawford, thanking him for opening his doors to Center Baptist for this forum to be tonight. And I want to thank our moderator that was able to come out tonight and share some information. And now, Lord, I don't want to talk long. I pray that you would dismiss us from this gathering tonight, but never, 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 never from thy presence. In Jesus' perfect and pure name we pray. Amen.